today. Welcome to Spooktober. We're a gaming YouTube channel, so we have to have at least one spooky game review in the month of October, and in fact, we are going to have two, this being the first Blair Witch review. We're going to be talking all about it, but real quick, we are doing a giveaway at 1,500 subs. We're giving away a Steam copy of Crash Bandicoot. All you gotta do is be subscribed, and if you like the video, we would super much appreciate a like. And let me know down in the comments if you're a fan of Blair Witch, and if you played the game, what you thought of the game. So guys, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say I am very prone to spook. I had trouble getting through the Resident Evil 7 demo, let alone the whole game, as an example of how easy it is just to spook me. The last time I watched Hereditary, which it was my second viewing of that, I was watching it alone in my house, I had to stop halfway through and I was terrified and could not sleep all night. So, all that being said, I am, prone to spook. And I'm way too scared to play Luigi's Mansion, so I thought I would check out the Blair Witch, possibly the horror game of this relative fall season. It came out in late August. And I think the thing that kind of sums this game up to me is I was playing the game, I was reading the subtitles in the game, and I found spelling errors in the subtitles. I think that beautifully represents the game. There's a great idea in there, but the cracks are frequent and apparent, and I'll just add, my spelling is atrocious. First thing I want to talk about with this game is the forest. This might be one of my favorite forests in any game ever. The trees are huge. You truly feel enveloped in this thing, even though you can pretty clearly see how small the environments are the more you play. It still feels like you're in this aimless forest. And I really wish there was a non-spooky version of this game. Like, I wish there was a way to play this with like all the daytime on all the time, so you can just like walk around in the pretty forest and not feel spooked, because the forest is really beautiful. It would be nice to just be able to walk around in it. That is, until you start interacting with things. Things are very beautiful until you start interacting. This is very much like the spelling error in the subtitles. You are very much bound to very linear trails, and it feels like a kind of like a PS2 era game, or maybe even earlier, where you are on that path, and if you try to deviate, you can't walk over a twig. And it's pretty easy to get caught in some jank in the environment, as does your dog. Your dog is a major role in the game, Bullet, and he has trouble, let's just say. He's not the smartest dog. He gets caught in branches quite often. But Forest is amazing, and I just want to say, like, the setting really nails the Blair Witch IP, which it's weird talking about the Blair Witch as an IP, because really there was only one good movie, and even then I personally think that movie is a little overrated, but the other movie was pretty much panned, and the 2000 Blair Witch 2, I'm pretty sure people just don't acknowledge exists. So anyways, there's not a lot to live up to here. As long as they nail the setting, which they did a good job in my opinion, and they did that. So you play as a man, Ellis, and he has a dog, Bullet, and they are searching for a boy and part of a squad. And I thought the characters and the delivery is all done pretty well. A lot of voice work. He has a girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, on and again, off again type thing, with a girl named Jess, who you can talk to on a cell phone. And overall, it's pretty well done. I will say the protagonist falls into those horror tropes where just is a complete idiot. He'll watch something horrible happen and he'll crack a joke immediately after, and it's like, what are you doing, you sociopath? But characters are well voiced at the very least, and Well, I personally couldn't relate to the things that drove the protagonist as a character. I can imagine the right person would. I just personally cannot relate to any of the beats that were emotionally weighing on the protagonist. And the story was okay enough to drive me through the about 4 hour, maybe 5 hour experience. And I do want to say that ending is very long and very bombastic. It is, from a design standpoint, probably the highlight of the whole game. It's about 20 minutes long and is almost worth the ride just for the ending, just to see it. And as far as gameplay goes, you're really wandering the woods, and there's occasional puzzles. There's two types of puzzles, camera puzzles and environmental puzzles. You have this magic camera that lets you watch tapes which alter reality. And these are hardly puzzles. You really just have to watch and maybe pause the tape at a particular moment for something to change in the world. I never had any problem getting through any of the puzzles. And there are environmental puzzles. And these puzzles I had a little bit of trouble getting through just because of the janky interaction with the world. You have to be in some pretty precise spots to get things to trigger. Not a terrible thing. Either way, it was never really unclear what I had to do so much as where I had to be going, either because the dog was being weird, or I was lost in a pitch black forest, or I was lost in a well-lit forest and just had no indication of where to go. Again, this is part of Blair Witch, I guess, so that's fine. And there is a combat element to this game. However, I don't know if I could hardly call it combat. In fact, I don't even think I'm going to show it. You flash your flashlight at a few things a few times, and that's it. It's like very quick and not the highlight of the game, and it should have just been left out, in my opinion. But you do it so little, it hardly matters. And when we examine these kind of like licensed games, like these movie IP franchises, I kind of wanted to just ask for fun, would this have been better as a movie? And I'm going to go with probably not, but then again, maybe. I think I have a better middle ground. Well, on the one hand, you do spend a lot of time aimlessly wandering the woods, much like the cast of the movie, so that's pretty cool. And for example, much like in the movie, you have no map, so you are literally aimlessly wandering just like the characters in the movie. I think a mini-series might have been a more fun way to explore this story, like maybe a Hulu or a Netflix like Spooktober original, only because really the only gameplay is that terrible combat, which shows up like 4 times, and these puzzles, which aren't that stimulating, and they're really just there for making the game a game instead of a pure walking simulator. I think it might have been more fun to do like a mini-series on this, but it is what it is. It's a horror game. I do think this game would sing a lot better in VR personally. And I know I've been kind of harping on the game a little, there are a few little touches that I did like. For example, as your character deteriorates, so do your menus. They gradually get grittier and grittier. You have a 2000s cell phone from the year 2000. That's when the game takes place, featuring quite a bit actually. You have settings, you can change the wallpaper on your phone, there's games you can play, and you can make calls and read messages and stuff, and it's actually not bad. It's a cute little phone, fun to mess around with when you are about to shit your pants. And there's like little details that sneak in, even though errors in the subtitles also sneak in. For example, if you try to call someone who's died, your protagonist will be like, ha, of course you didn't pick up. Like, I don't know, just little stuff. So there was thought put into certain aspects for sure. And there are multiple endings for this game, but like I said, it is a short experience at maybe 4 hours. So there is incentive to replay. I'm not sure I would want to jump right back in and replay it. This might be kind of fun to do each Halloween. That's kind of what I'm doing with Until Dawn. Like every spook time, I give it a playthrough and try to get a different ending. But 4 hour experience, it's a retail value of $30, which I think that's fair if you are into the Blair Witch and if you're into horror games. Otherwise, probably not worth it. I picked this up and played it through on Game Pass, and I think if you have Game Pass already, I do think it's definitely worth at least checking it out and seeing if it's your cup of tea. It's worth at least trying the first few chapters. But unfortunately, at the beginning of this video I said I am prone to spookage. This game was not scary. This was 3 out of 9 spooks on my spook meter. Great atmosphere, really not scary. Like, I was nervous going in to play this game, and I came out of it fine. So I just thought I would throw that out there. Again, prone to being scared, wasn't that scared. But the game as a whole is unoffensive for a 4-hour run, and especially if you're a fan of the Blair Witch. But that is it for review number 1 in Spooktober. Like I said, there will be 2 spooky reviews. That is all from me, guys. Throw me a like if you liked the video, and I will catch you guys next time.